soaring into the enemy battle line, delivering precision strikes to the heart of the enemy, the Tempestus Drop Force.
Anvil of War! Let's talk tactics!
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Tactics here on Anvil of War Gaming. Today we're talking about one of my favorite detachments to bring with my Astra Militarum forces, and that is the Tempestus Drop Force from the Vigilus Defiant campaign. This detachment is fantastic. It includes two of my favorite units from the Astra Militarum selection or collection. That's the Valkyrie, as well as Tempestus Scions. Scions, if you don't know, they're kind of like the commandos of the Astra Militarum army. They get into the thick of battle, usually don't make it out alive, have a very short lifespan once they get into the heat of it, but at the same time, they can deliver quite a punch to your enemy's battle lines and battle plans, and generally disrupt enough to put you out on top and let the rest of your army mop up and do some damage. So the Vigilus Defiant campaign came out, and with it came a whole bunch of detachments, some of them good, some of them bad, some of them are up for debate. I find that this is probably my favorite, or one of my favorite, as far as the Astra Militarum detachments are concerned. I really like the aesthetic of the whole army, as I've said before, but on top of that, I think it's really strong and has a lot of potential. So we're going to get into that today. So essentially, if you haven't used any of the Vigilus detachments before, what you can do is you can spend one command point per game, and you can take a detachment. It has to be a Tempestus Scion detachment, which you're going to kind of want, and we'll explain that later. But what you're going to do is you spend that one command point, and again, Astra Militarum, you shouldn't have any shortage of command points. If you do, then you're playing a really elite, really crack army that, again, you should consider tweaking, because stratagems and command points are really important for the way the Astra Militarum play. So what I would say with this is once you spend the one command point, you're unlocking the potential of using this detachment in your force. So again, Astra Militarum Tempestus Scion detachment, so it can be a Vanguard detachment, it can be a battalion, whatever, as long as it has the Tempestus Scion keyword, in which in order to do, you have to take only Tempestus Scion units, or units like the Valkyrie, or priests, crusaders, ogrins, ratlings, anything that's not going to affect your keyword. But what it ends up doing is it ends up giving you the ability to take, probably, I would say, arguably one of the only real true alpha strikes left in the game. The reason is that with all the changes over the FAQs and over the 8th edition books and releases, everything's kind of gone towards trying to limit or reduce the amount of alpha striking, and making sure that everybody has a safe 9-inch charge, for example, for when they're deep striking in or they're teleporting onto the table mid-game. What these guys do with their weapons, with their basic weapons, I would say the basic Scions are not really going to benefit heavily from this detachment. I would say it's really keyed for one specific use, and what a use that is. It's going to deliver a huge punch to your enemy and possibly neutralize or completely cripple a large target in your opponent's army. So what you're going to do, what we do in this case, you're going to want to use another command point. Again, Astra Militarum, you shouldn't really be struggling for extra command points. You should have lots to play with. And you should be able to get at least one back a turn if you're using Grand Strategist and the Relic. So as you're stacking that and you're getting your command points back, you're really not going to worry about these two command points, because you're pretty much guaranteed going to generate those back throughout the game. So the second command point that you're spending is going to be on the Tempestor Prime. The Tempestus Prime, it gives him the Field Commander ability. This makes him eligible to take the Warlord trait from the detachment, which is Grab, Shoot, Commando. And it's going to be really key in this whole combination. Now, Grab, Shoot, Commando, again, you don't want him to be your Warlord because he's kind of a suicidal character. I'm going to say that you're probably going to, I'm going to say you want to include a Tempestus Command Rod on him so that he can issue a second command. It's really, really important for what we're going to do here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to be giving him with the Field Commander. Again, he's not your Warlord. He's going to die, probably going to die right after this trick works. But if you do it right, you're going to take out more of your opponent's points than you're losing, considerably more if you do it right. So he drops down, and he's going to be in the Valkyrie. Obviously, that's the whole point of the Tempestus drop force. Inside the Valkyrie, with its troop capacity, you could potentially take 2 of these. You could throw in a Primaris Psyker, something else to increase durability maybe of the vehicle. I don't really think you're going to be targeting these guys with too many psychic powers. But inside, you're going to put 2 command squads. Both squads are going to be completely kitted out with plasma guns. So now you've got 8 plasma guns accompanying this guy. What you're really banking on is the stratagem that is unlocked by gaining this specific detachment. What it does is it's called the Precision Drop, and what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to move the Valkyrie across the table, maximum distance, and with their Grab, Shoot, Insertion special rule, you're able to drop these guys out anywhere along that move. This includes up to the end of the move. There's a 20-inch sort of cap on the move if you don't want these guys to get hurt. If you go over that normally, you have to roll dice, and on a roll of a 1, these guys are you're going to lose a model. With a plasma gun, toting, command squad, specialist, you don't want to lose any models. And that's where the precision drop comes in handy. So the precision drop allows you to move and not have to roll any dice. So at any point during the move, no matter how far you go, you can drop these guys out, and you're not rolling any dice to see if any die. Now, there's a small hindrance to this, which kind of got away from some of the shenanigans that you could get away with this specific detachment. But they FAQ'd the Valkyrie special rule for the Grab, Shoot, Insertion, which is now that when they're dropping out of the Valkyrie, they have to be more than 9 inches away from the enemy. So again, they have to be more than 9 inches away. But with plasma guns, you have a 24-inch range, and ideally, you're going to be within 12 inches of your target. So you're outside of that 9 inches, you're not worried about it. Outside of that 9 inches, you get the rapid fire on the plasma guns. So, 8 plasma toting command squad guys are going to be pumping out 16 plasma shots. Again, this is part of a Tempestus Scion detachment, and therefore it's going to have the keyword, and therefore it's going to unlock the Stormtrooper Doctrine. And the Stormtrooper Doctrine allows them that if the target is within half range of them when they're firing, on a roll of a 6, you're generating an additional shot. So 6s are now creating more shots. You've got 16 shots coming in with the rapid fire on the plasma. You can see again where this is going. So now we're going to throw in the Warlord trait. So now that you've unlocked Field Commander, you've paid the 1 command point to give him Field Commander, which allows him to take the Warlord trait, the specific Warlord trait, to this detachment. What it's going to do, that Warlord trait, is it creates a 6-inch aura that any units that are disembarking from the Valkyries that turn, what it does is it gives them +1 to hit. So now your 5s are becoming 6s. You're getting extra shots on 6s. So now you're getting extra shots on the 5s and 6s. You're also going from hitting on a 3+ to hitting on a 2+, combined with the orders, and again, that's why you're taking the Tempestus Command Rod. the command rod allows him to issue an additional order. With 2 units of command, 2 command squads jumping out of the Valkyrie, you're going to want to issue an order to each of them. You could go even further, give him a relic. I wouldn't take the relic from the detachment. Basically what it does is if the bearer, specifically the bearer, is targeted with a psychic power, you can deny it essentially on a 2+. It's good, but it's kind of wasted because if they're targeting him with a psychic power, it's just not, it's not really necessary. I don't think anybody's going to do that, and I think it's kind of wasted, so I wouldn't use that relic. What I would use is potentially, I think it's Kurov's Aquila, and just give them the ability to potentially order an additional order to these guys on a 4+. So you can issue the order on a 4+, issue another order, issue the order to the next squad on a 4+, issue another order. So you can get some really nasty combinations. You're gonna pick and choose your orders depending on what targets you're firing at. If you're firing these guys on a target that's a vehicle or a monster, you might want to use the Tempestus specific order. But other than that, there's going to be, bring it down, and you might want to get, realistically, you're always going to probably go for the reroll 1s because you're hitting on 2s now with the +1 to hit. So you're rerolling the 1s, so 2s to hit, rerolling 1s. That's just going to generate more hits. Generating more hits gives you the chance of generating more 5s, and then the 5s are creating extra shots with plasma. It's also the rerolling 1s. You're going to want to overcharge these guys probably if you're firing them against a big juicy target on the enemy side. So you're probably going to want to pop off or overcharge the plasmas, and then when you overcharge the plasmas, you're going to be rerolling those 1s. Again, the 5s are creating extra hits. At this point, I'm going to be honest, if one guy dies from the overcharging, it's not the end of the world. If these guys miraculously make it to turn 2, and your opponent doesn't deal with them for some strange reason, because these guys could literally just get blown off the table by a strong wind because they're not, you're going to want to try to jump them out into cover if you get the chance, but you really want that ideal shooting position more than you're going to care about these guys surviving the next turn. So if you can get the best of both worlds, if you can have your cake and eat it too, then yeah, drop these guys out in a cover position, so they're going to get the +1 to their saves. Again, still doesn't make them overly durable. They just become essentially Marines at that point with toughness 3. So yeah, they're not going to stick around too much. But what these guys are going to do is they're going to jump out, they're going to smash something with their plasma guns, and then they're probably going to die. If they don't die, if your opponent leaves them alone for whatever reason, you're going to want to overcharge them again and take out something else, most likely, unless there's no juicy targets around you, and then you're just going to kind of shoot plasma at chaff or enemy infantry or something like that, in which case, maybe it's situational, you might not have to overcharge, but they're definitely not going to survive to the next turn. So it's kind of like, again, it's situational, but what they're really, really good at doing is that alpha strike. Again, that being an alpha strike, the whole concept of using this detachment in a way that you're going to create a situation where you have multiple units doing this and using these abilities. It's not really necessary. It's cool, it's thematic, and if you want to go for that route, do it, absolutely. If you're looking for a more competitive kind of list, or if you're looking for a more competitive, like you're going to a tournament, for example, then I think this is sort of like a one-trick pony, and I think it's only going to be one unit in your army or one group in your army that's going to be doing it. So again, in order to take 2 command squads, you're going to have 2 primes. So you're probably going to want to take a second prime and maybe jump them in with some volley gun toting squads, maybe maxed out squads of 10 Scions with volley guns or something dropping in, and then him the other guy issuing orders. Maybe he's your warlord because he's not going to be jumping into the middle of it and dying. So there's some playing around. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the aerial fire support. With aerial fire support, what ends up happening is we have, if these guys or these guys, any of these guys are getting charged by an opponent, or if they're the target of a charge, it allows a Valkyrie that's within 6 inches of them to fire Overwatch and hit no matter what on a 4+, regardless of any modifiers. So you have your unit, it's getting charged. You have this guy sitting back. He just deployed them from they just jumped out from the grab, shoot, insertion. So now he's within 6 inches. They get to fire Overwatch hitting on a 4+. If you have the Valkyrie kitted out, right now I have these magnetized, but I forgot the variants at home. Sorry guys. But typically what you're going to want to run on this is instead of the las cannon, you're going to want to probably run a multi-laser, and you're going to want to go for all that strength 5 DACA. So you're probably going to go for the extra heavy bolters, and you're probably going to go for the multiple missile pods. Just it makes more sense, I think, to do it. You're going to get a lot more anti-infantry DACA, and if these guys, if somebody doesn't want to dedicate something heavier to shooting these guys off the board after they've done their job, and they want to just clear them off with some infantry, some light infantry, or maybe a horde, then getting to fire Overwatch with them, and then also getting to fire Overwatch hitting on 4+ with the Valkyrie with a whole bunch of strength 5 DACA could be really, really fun. And remember that the Valkyrie as it is, it's ballistic skill 4+ as it is standard, and if it moved that turn, it was supposed to be, I mean, it's getting that -1 to hit from the heavy weapons. So if you're now hitting on 4s, I mean, it's kind of nice. It kind of mitigates that. It's balanced with their full ballistic skill. Essentially, you're firing at full ballistic skill for these guys, so that's pretty cool. And if the enemy has some sort of minuses to hit or something like that, then you don't have to worry about that because, again, it's an unmodified 4+ no matter what. So, yeah, I would say this is probably one of my favorite little tricks. You can really catch your opponent off guard when you drop these guys in and you hit them with a whole bunch of plasma and take out something really big and really strong turn 1. I mean, typically in a guard list, you're going to have lots of things that are drawing firepower other than just a single Valkyrie with a couple command squads in it. And again, it's a Valkyrie, first turn, you're deploying it. Obviously, don't just put it somewhere where it can get shot off the table turn 1. Deploy cleverly with it. Don't, if you have some terrain or something that you can put it behind, it's a big model, it's hard to hide. But if you can, put it behind something, turn 1, pivot, move up, move to the spot that you want to be, drop these guys out. Remember, they have to be 9 inches away from the enemy, but you want to be within that sweet spot of more than 9 but less than 12 so that they're getting their so they're getting the rapid fire shots. And also getting their bonuses from the Scion discipline, stormtroopers. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to shoot something off the table, pick something big, overcharge these guys, hit them hard, and then say goodbye to them because they're probably dead. But that's the game, right?
Sponsored by
If you guys are enjoying our content and you want to see more content created by us, please support the channel by clicking the subscribe button. Also, if you want to check out more of our videos, there's some more right here. Flying into the battle line. What's wrong with me tonight? The enemies.